Any doctor website has a mark on its back. Attack me. Period.
A doctor, their job is not to go through the structure of how the websites are set up, parked and cPaneled. The doctor's job is to treat the patient.
We're guarding assets. We're guarding a business. Doctors treat people, and technical people treat websites.
Most doctors have a website, but what they don't know is how to actually make that website work very effectively for them as an integral part of their business development, of their practice development. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, giving you practical tips so you don't have to make mistakes that other people make. I am here with my very good friend, with my neighbor, actually, with my team member, with my collaborating partner, John Nessim, and I'm very proud to have you here as part of Polish Your Business podcast. Welcome, John.
Oh, thank you, Mike. It's a privilege.
Awesome. So where do you want to start?
Well, I want to start with a common theme that I've been seeing on the internet, especially with doctors, which is the lack of the true purpose of a website for the business.
What would you say that true purpose should be?
Bring in leads? Well, let me unfold that a little bit. Everybody rushes to have a website. Just like open the place, the clinic, print out a business card, get the website running, file for business, yada, yada. Mostly rushed. The website gets mostly rushed because they need to have a web presence, which by itself, a purpose of the website or purpose for the business. However, this is inherited. When you have a website, it's going to be the internet and it's going to be an exposure in a way. However, if that is planned, that purpose is well thought of and planned, it's going to take the business to a whole new level or levels. And this is where you and I come into place. We help them define the purpose or extract the purpose of the website and make it a true vehicle for the business to thrive.
That is so true, because what people don't realize, we talk about branding, we talk about your online image, and it's not just having a logo or proper color combination displayed or the right font. This is all, mini representations of the brand, but really what brand is, in my opinion, is the process of creating a feeling that will help people decide to choose you. So how do we create a feeling is by welcoming people on every point of contact that they have with a certain vibe, with a certain extension of your value. And that's where our teamwork has always been so great, because out of so many people that we work with, you have every single time, without any exception, you were able to listen, give it enough time to really understand the purpose of the doctor and then what they want the viewer or the visitor to feel. And while they have a ton of different places where they invite the attention of the potential patient or collaborating partner, website has always been the core. But the attention on the website, what we found, right, John, is very minimal. Would you say that that's a problem, that the website does not have enough attention, and it should actually be the extension of what value they provide?
It happens. This is mostly the case. Or sometimes the website takes too long to develop and build, and at the end of the day, the doctor says, I just want to need something to be online for my business. By all means, you're right. We spend time with the doctor so we can extract the value they represent for themselves and their business and their patients, and help them translate that on the website. And at the same time, consider the other aspects for a website. Like it has to show the message right away. Don't take me through a lot of turns so you can tell me what is this all about. Either the business, the clinic, or the doctor. And the beauty of it that we start with direct questions. For all our common clients, we started with, what's the purpose of the website? And we help them, of course. They would say, oh, to be on the internet, to be found on Google. But at the end of the day, it's a business that serves people. So we need to help people to understand what this is all about, what this is business about, help them reach out to that place, be able to contact them, and also, above all, to answer, if not all, at least most of their questions online so they can get what they want. And you see, I'm biased. I like the user, but at the end of the day, I'm serving a business here through a website.
Yeah.
And of course, the website needs to convert, which is kind of a technical term, and we're going to unfold that.
You're talking about users. We need to always remember that this is real people like us, like you and I, like
Mhm.
you listening to this or watching. We are visiting a website for a purpose. The last thing we want is a bunch of banners trying to sell us something.
Uh,
The first thing
yeah.
we want is to understand, am I in the right place? What exactly is the value proposition of that doctor's office for
Mhm.
me, for my particular situation and a problem? Like you mentioned also, answering some of the questions, maybe not all, because why would we have a consult if everything is answered? But if I have enough questions answered that allow me to take that next step, now I need to be able to click and know where to click to actually connect and fill out that contact form. And then talking about conversions, etc. I want people listening or watching to pay attention to one word here that John uses quite often, and this is the usability of the website. Tell me, what do you mean by this? Because now I understand it much better than I did before I met you.
Ah, sure. Usability by itself is a science, is how people use the software. In our case, the web page or the react to it. Okay. So instead of just putting images over there or things that we think we like, we put the actual things or elements on the page that's going to serve the people based on studies, based on science. For example, people like videos. And sometimes I meet this client who'll say, oh, I want to have a video on the first part of the homepage. You and I call it hero, and all the technical people call it the hero section above the fold. And video is good. People think it's modern, but at the same time, could be distracting, could be taking a lot of time to load. And this has to answer to the people's attention. We give them 2 seconds to know who we are and act on it, hopefully, you know? So we always go back to usability studies, understand what the doctor is about, what the clinic is about, what the patients should expect, what treatment is provided, what insurance, and we collect all the information as much as possible, and we try to portray that and put the pill, the starting pill above the fold on the hero section. We call it call to action. So if you want to cram this part with a picture of a family or a video or a slider that rotates faster than the people's attention or tolerance to wait, this is where we're going to step in with a professional opinion and say, okay, usability studies have said one, two, three. So let's try to do it this way. And we always have our measurements over there. We always track. So we can test things and measure success. Let's start without a video for a couple of months and see how people are gonna interact with it.
There is a good exercise that people can try even right now. If you have a website, you're watching this,
Mhm.
you're listening to this, you have your own website. Open your own website right now, or maybe after you watch this, or you can pause and
Mhm.
open it right now and pull it up And before you start scrolling, because what John is talking about is above the fold, meaning like before you start scrolling and entering all the pages, because no, if you do a heat map of your website, if you see how the user behavior is on your website, you will see that some people don't even go to 17 pages that you have, that you crafted and carefully put together. What's very important is that first moment that they enter your website. John is talking about 2 seconds, because our attention span is so short, right? So open your own website and just ask yourself a question. Do people understand really from what they see in the first two to maybe we'll give them 5 seconds, or John will give you two. In 2 seconds, can you see what value is there for the ideal client that you're trying to attract? Can they really clearly see it? And if the messaging is simple and easy to digest, can they see a call to action? Where do I click to connect with John? Where is it? And then also, is it visually appealing and also projecting a feeling, making you feel a way that you're like, you know what? I like this. Like, this is the environment that I want to enter, because it's a representation. I always come back to branding. It's a representation of you, your practice, your team. So is it cluttered and confusing, or is it structured, organized, and simple enough so people can come and visit your office and expect the same simplicity to find a solution to the problem that they have? So do that exercise right now and be a little bit critical about what you have, and just know that you don't have to figure out everything yourself, because there are experts. Like, I'm featuring John right now because I believe that sometimes a simple phone call or a Zoom call with a screen share with an expert can give you insights to what could be improved, what should be improved, so you can decide what to do with it later. John, let me know if you see common mistakes that people make on that first impression. What are the most common mistakes that, if somebody is doing that exercise right now, I would like them to know what they're looking out for?
May I add something to that exercise? Make it a
Absolutely.
little bit more exciting,
Yep.
yet scientific too. You mentioned the word usability early on. So you do everything that you mentioned, Mike. Okay, they can do that, or they do that. But let's spice it up a little bit. They opened a website for a friend, spouse, whoever, the next person sitting, the person sitting next to you, and open up the website and watch them react on it and ask them right away, what do you think about that? What do you think this is all about?
I love it.
Yes, because then, only then, you will get a glimpse of how users that you don't see, users who visit your website, which is 24/7, 365, by the way, available on the internet, react to your website.
So important, because if I'm opening my own website, I'm biased. I know what I offer, so I'm going to be looking
Exactly.
at different things. What a
Exactly.
great point, John.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, guys, that's why I wanted to feature John. He thinks differently.
Yes, we do the same thing too. We look at it from different lenses. Let's talk about your website. I know you, I know what you do, I know your words. So when I see them, I understand that this is Mike, but I have to put on the end user. We call them the end user, which is basically the person who's going to browse your website when we are not at the website. We can't see them. And I was trained a long time ago to think in place of that person because I serve them. Only then, when I see the elements that, based on usability studies that I learned along the time, based on tests that we've been through the business, and say, okay, it looks great, Mike. A lot of animation. It looks great, Mike, but what's the message? Where's the pill? Or it's awesome, Mike, but why there's two call to actions? And I'm sure you're gonna remember my number three question. It's like, what's the call to action? Where do you want to lead them in order to serve your business? Is it a phone call? Is it a contact form that you're gonna fill up, or you want to put them on your calendar? You gotta pick one, because this is one of the aspects. Because people think we're gonna put everything. Sure, put everything, but we need to have a main call to action. Remember the CTA?
Absolutely. And how many
Mhm.
times do we open a website for a client we are working and teaming up to help together, and we see two, sometimes three call to actions
Mhm.
all in one screen, which could be very confusing. So coming back to the bullet points that I want our viewer or listener to really look out for as mistakes that people make. So you mentioned number one, the clear message, right? So is the
Correct.
message very clear? Number two, as I understand it, and fill in the blanks, is the call to action. Do I have multiple, or do I have one clear call to action that leads me to take action in a way that they actually want that action to be taken? What would you say number three is?
Number one, the clear message. I'm here and I do that. Or we are here and do that. And there's a little bit difference between I and we, but we can unpack that later on. Okay. And then what do you expect them to do? What do you want the user to do? It's like, are you click here to learn more or book an appointment or do any action, take an action in order to get into my business. And number three is who are you to them, which we call it social proof. Because if users pass the first check and then the second check, you're winning already. You're on a date with them. Okay. So they give you more time out of their life, which is the third second or so. Okay. So hopefully they started to scroll down to learn more about who you are. And this is where we're going to meet them or welcome them with even a better meal. It's like, okay, I have some social proof. And you
Yes.
and I worked on that and we honed this.
Over and over again. And
Yes, in
it's
multiple
and
occasions.
and what is super good, and when I say over and over again, I mean different clients having the
Yeah,
same problem. And quite frankly, John, as for you and I, when we discuss this, it's quite obvious. It's not a good to have, it's a must have to show that
exactly.
you are a credible source of, like in case of a doctor, of treatment, of resources, right? You are credible. John, give us examples of how can social proof look like on the website.
It's simple. Anything that the doctor did or the clinic achieved before, like an award, a certificate, anything that was granted to them by a third party that is telling the others that they're good at what they claim to be doing. That's A. And so let's say, like in some cases, you don't have awards, there's no really clear certificates of a sort. Could be there any testimonials? I'm sure everybody now is familiar with the word testimonials, and testimonials come in different flavors. It could be a Google review, a public review. When I say Google review, means a public review, like someone else can check that online already. Okay, or a review from an authority, subject matter expert, another person telling the user that okay, Mike is really great because he did this and that, or Polisher Business did that. And that person happened to be like a number one brain doctor, for example, in the US, or a very popular stem cell doctor, or a public speaker, someone in health and wellness circle.
Such a good point. So it's not logos that we just put together to show the social proof, meaning that credibility is there, that are just random logos that we put to show something. It's specifically to your practice. What
Correct.
has and you put both. What has the doctor achieved himself or herself, or what has the clinic or practice achieved? Because that could be on both levels. And then it doesn't have to be logos of like showing up on TVs, because not everybody was on TVs. It could be stages, it could be interviews, it could be reviews or testimonials, like you mentioned, independent parties, case studies. I want people to think like, how can I show to people, instead of telling them that I'm good, how can I show a proof from, like, social proof that I am good without you saying this, because I would argue it's very powerful to have somebody else say the same thing as you're saying that doesn't really have the interest in selling your product versus you, who, of course, John is going to be talking about John's services and Nassim Work services in collaboration. Now we have Mike and Polisher Business going to be talking about Polisher Business. But if we both have interest in the respective companies, of course we're going to say, all the good stuff that we want to say, and it's less credible from our mouth than it is from somebody else's. So that's a really, really important one that I want people to really, when you do this exercise right now, when you're evaluating your website, the messaging, what do you do and why, and basically the can you solve the problem for the person who visited the website, the call to action, what action is here to be taken and how easy it is to take that action. And please don't forget about the social proof. Show people that you are worth their attention, you're worthy of their taking action. I think that's very, very good. When you're listening to John, I think that you feel what I felt when I met John. There's a lot of passion. There is a lot of understanding. There is a lot of strategic thinking before making a move. So, John, I wanted to direct a question to you, which I know the answer to, but I want the viewer or listener to really understand and kind of like bathe themselves a little bit more in your world. Where is all that passion coming from?
Well, I loved computers since I was a little kid. I started to code at the age of 13, and since then I loved computers. And what I loved more about it is the capacity to provide information, to portray information, display information that help others to understand. And when the web kicked in, or like the .com kicked in, this is where I found my passion exploding. Because now, and instead of having a program that you need to install, it's available. You just need a browser, and here you are in somebody's office, somebody's business, somebody's mind, or even heart. Immediately, you get to know who they are, what they can help you with in life. So they searched and you appeared. So who are you to them is my message to represent you the best way ever. Not everybody can express themselves, even people who can express themselves, like authors. Some of our clients are authors already. They don't know, or they are not equipped to portray this information on a web browser for a desktop or not, or even a mobile device now. And this is where my passion is. I'd like to help them do that. And because of the years that I spent with that, I get to learn more about the end user. How do you think? How do they think? How they react? What's their level of tolerance waiting on a screen? How they read screens? Um, Different languages, different cultures, and also how they uh, expect us to serve them. How easy the information is. How many clicks should they click? Can can I take them to click 20 clicks in order to reach an end goal, or would it rather be one click, hopefully one click, or two clicks, like click on to reach call, learn more, or not even learn more, scratch that, because we need to, when you say learn more, my feeling about the word learn more, it's by itself. It's like book an appointment. So they click one click and then they land on a form, they get to fill up their information and then click one button. Boom. Now they know that they've done something good to themselves and, of course, to the business. You see, this is where I found myself. And it doesn't just stop there. So this is mission one accomplished. Then this what's beyond this point is also what I care about. It's like it's not just they fill up the form and the doctor is happy because now they are into the CRM, or there's like a prospects, or they can really help them. But what happens beyond the push of a button? Did they receive an email confirming the information they just posted on that, confirming the time that they booked, confirming the what's next? that they should expect. So we're setting expectation. We're engaged into business here together. We are on a mission together. And by together in this case, it means the online services, the website, let's call it like that, and the doctor with their clinic and the person we can call patient for now, but just the person. So now there's an email exchange with the submit of a form. I I received an email telling me thank you for submitting the form or booking the time with Dr. XYZ. One of our members is going to be in contact within 24 hours. In the meanwhile, you can look up us on social media, watch this video, feel free to fill up this form. Like we expect, learn about the insurance that we accept, engage them more because there are guests in your business, in your place right now. And at the same time, the office or the doctor or whoever responsible about receiving those emails get a notification, another notification. There's someone interested in your service, and that person information is name, email, phone, and so on. There could be other qualifiers. And beyond this point, there should be like a reminder or a system like a CRM that would absorb that, we call it aka lead, okay, or request to be helped or serviced. And don't let it linger over there. People are busy. So we can close the circle, like send reminders to the person responsible or capture interactions. Like I contacted John. And then humans connect. See, at the end of the day, humans connect. Somebody receives a service to make their life better. This is where you and I live for right now, live in and live for. Service, health, and wellness of people through the talents that we're given. You're really good with videos. You're awesome with videos. And I've seen doctors thrive and get famous instead of just few views and few clicks. Now they get in the hundreds of and thousands of views and clicks and even more because I stopped counting. And now I know when I see a reel, it's like I gotta like this because I saw that doctor with just two videos on the internet. Now they have thousands of videos and some of those shorts because of a bunch of videos that they do with you. And you and I are interconnected because at the end of the day, we need to help another person to get the best service ever. That's why I know you're picky with even your doctors. So not any doctor can just get into Mike's world. It has to be somebody with a true mission to help mankind. And this is where you and I step in and do the little thing that we do that makes it work, really work for the end user. And guess who's going to benefit? The doctor, you, myself, and everybody else.
Wow, so powerful. What you said is music to my ears, and I'm also really trying to imagine somebody listening to this and trying to simulate being in your position, because what we just heard from you is a proof of how differently somebody can think to somebody else. For example, when you think about web development, when you think about website development, when you think about online presence and whatever the service is, people focus on the actions and almost systematize it to the point that the human factor is taken out of the equation. I don't like it. I never liked it. I never wanted to treat people like they're numbers or they're just these things that are being moved from spreadsheet to CRM and even calling people leads. I have a big problem with this and always had. At the same time, we have John, who just told all of us human connection. Human is connecting to another human. That's really what's happening. We are using these systems to make that human connect to another human. I would also add to this that there is also a story behind both sides. The doctor has a story, and we empathize with the story because we can see how much the doctors that are in our doctors networking group and connecting to us and help, reaching out to us. These are not doctors who say, hey, I just want to grow my practice and get from 1 million to 2 million or 2 to 5. It doesn't the conversations don't go like this. The conversation go, I see what you're doing. I want to help more people. I have something that they need, and I feel the help needs to be communicated. That value needs to be communicated to them. What can I do? Because obviously something is missing. And there's the whole story, what that doctor, maybe it's you watching or listening, what did you go through to be at the point to be able to help people so much? And then you're looking at your phone and you're like, why is it not ringing? If people knew what I know, the phone would be ringing off the hooks, but it like crazy, but it doesn't. So what's missing? On the other side, we have another human. They have a story. It could be a patient who lost hope, who is sitting on the couch, grabs the remote control, opens the bag of chips, opens the beer, and says, I guess I'm done because there's nothing else
Mhm.
that my doctor can do for me. And these two humans, when they connect, magic can happen. And I want people to really focus on what you said, not in the context of only the bullet points of what you're telling people to do and the checklist and the three things to focus on. I want you to know that connecting with John, and that's why I love working with you, beyond that, you're my good friend, and I feel like we're soul brothers. And professionally, we are so aligned. I love working with you because I know that you are an extension of the same mindset that I have. We are really thinking about these people on both sides, treating both of them with respect, and trying to make it happen without any friction, making it very, very easy for them. And I wanted to touch on that passion because, John, you know that not everybody works like you. And that's why I appreciate you so much. And it's my um, great moment of pride to be able to feature a team member, collaborating partner, friend on a podcast like this, because I think people need to understand this is not hiring a web developer to do XYZ on the website. This is hiring a strategic collaborating partner who belongs as the extension of your own internal team and will think like they care about the business like it's their own business, because that's the mindset that not everybody has. So I thank you for this. And I also wanted to switch to something that I think is very important for people to hear, because the terminology is very different in John Nassim world and Mike's world comparing to the general public. People use the term website maintenance and website management interchangeably. What John is saying, these are two different things. Let's talk about it.
To me, it's simple. Maintenance is visiting something and making sure it's still working, or making sure that we are taking precau some precautionary actions to make sure it's going to keep running smoothly, which is a great thing, of course. Okay. And I'll circle back why this is important to websites too, like to the vehicle, like HVAC system and anything that it's running in the world. And versus maintenance, maintenance versus management. Management is more proactive, like interactive too. It's not just to make sure that the website software, we call like plugins or themes are like up to date. No, it's beyond that. It's bigger than that. It's having the bigger picture and acting on it. Like, for example, spending the time to know what's the date of the year, what are the events that are going to happen. Like, for example, upcoming holidays. Are we going to have offers? We need to manage that through the website. Are we going to manage that or not? If yes, then how are we going to manage that through the website? This is A. B. Uh, Anything that's included in the maintenance, of course. C, uh, is the website in proper alignment with the search engine optimization factors? Everybody knows SEO, so we can use the term SEO as a shortener to the search engine optimization phrase. Is the website aligned with that or not? Do we refresh the content or not? Because a website by itself is a living organism on the world of internet. And guess what living things need? Attention and action. And they need changes in order to continue living. They consume things. They consume bytes. They consume user clicks. And they get consumed at the same time, like anything in nature, like search engines and the bots. They keep hitting your website all the time. You like or not. Yes, we can stop that, but stopping this is not a good or a smart move because you're blocking yourself, isolating yourself of the world. We don't need that. We actually need we need it the other way around. So what will bot expect from you? They expect you to show them pulses of life, like have refresh your content every now and then, add a blog piece, add update a page, update your list of insurance, accepted insurance. Now talking clinics here, uh, because they change once a year, maybe update it, update your offers, update what you do, even refresh the design a little bit. Give them some good pulses of I am alive, I am providing good things. So this is what it's a management. And management is really a higher level of care of a website. So you're not cornered into just updating things, updating software under the hood. No, it's under the hood and facing the world.
I love it. And so many people, I would say, fall into three categories. One, they have a website, they build it, and they park it. They just park
Yep.
it, which means the website is hosted somewhere, whichever platform or service provider they choose, it's being hosted. And they're like, I guess I'm done. I build my website. I have it out there. It was with one of our clients that they basically didn't see the need for management or even didn't really fully understand the maintenance. And the way that we explained it is almost like you buy this new car that you wanted to have and you were so proud to have, and now it's all shiny and beautiful and it's your dream car. And then if you don't maintain it, the car starts collecting dust, bird poop, leaves, and then it naturally degrades. So that's why maintenance is needed just to maintain it. But also management, as John is seeing this, is very connected to web development, and web development meaning this whole cobweb of different connections between your website and other parts of your business, online, offline, facing the user, and then publicly, and then facing the user hidden or unlisted, because there are some things that are happening there. So I want people to understand that maintenance is the bare minimum, like, from time to time, coming with a with a little, car wash, let's say, for that car. But that's not enough, because if you want to tune that that website, or in this case the car, if you want to also start thinking about managing, like, where can I get this car so the value is going to be even better now that I have it. Now I have the speed of this car, I have the value, aesthetic value of the car, I have the functionality of the car, I could also invite other people to this car and then drive them to the place where I want to drive. I really want you to think about these type of analogies when it comes to management, because it's a whole lot more things than just maintaining when you do management. But there's one more thing that I really want to focus on before we wrap up the interview, because I think it's so important. And this is the security of the car,
Oh,
the security of the website. And
yes.
John, I will tell you, John, you will explain the difference between the true security and the seemingly true security, because that was the funny example that was actually saving the butt of one of our clients. John
Yep.
explained to me the difference, because it's the same word. We have security. So now, if you go to a mall, well, depending on when you watch this, some of the malls are disappearing, as you see. But
Uh-huh.
guys who remember, like, the mall with lots of stores, they have what's called security. There's a security guard that just walks around or patrols it. But does it mean that the mall is secure just because of that security guard? Probably not. So don't have the security guard like security of your website, but really find ways to secure the website, monitor it properly, and create some mechanisms to protect that website fully, because it's the same word. We have security and we have security. It sounds the same. It's two different things. John, let's talk about the guy in the mall.
Wow, you're bringing memories with this particular case. Yes.
We both know what we know.
Yes,
I
Jesus.
think it's
Okay.
important to bring to people's
Yeah.
attention.
So Any doctor website, specifically doctor websites, has a mark on its back, like this is attack me, period. We, you and I know why, because it's a fertile space to put in, to inject in bad things, to sell Viagra and the other things. Okay. And once they find a way to penetrate the website and put their own thing, they can go far and beyond, even to full Google itself. Mall security versus the security guy. Both are good, but at the end of the day, we're guarding assets, we're guarding a business. So having somebody walk with a flashlight just to make sure that nobody is there behind the glass hiding, and they're gonna walk away. So even if somebody's there hiding to do their deed, they're gonna make they're gonna be really good at hiding themselves from the mall security guy. And once that person moves away from it, they don't see them anymore, they're gonna have their own party started. Period. We don't want that. We definitely don't. We don't need that. We need to have real sense of security. We need to have cameras. We need to have alarm systems. We need to have sensors. Even that, even it, before even people think to walk into a place, to sneak into a place, there's going to be a trigger. A lot of sensors are going to trigger and alarm us that something is not good. Act now. Or in and also now talking software, realistically talking software, like to block those attacks as much as we can. And even, God forbid, something happen, we need to be aware of it. We need to have like server scanners that run every now on a scheduled time that would scan the server, scan the website, and see if something happened. We know. And add to that, also, there's some other functionalities of like we need to make sure that website is up and running all the time because it doesn't mean it's a server fault. It could be also be somebody was able to take the website down. So we need to keep an eye about that. We also need to protect. Remember, it's a store for my information as a doctor and people's information too, like my clients and patients. So if we're storing that, we need to make sure that we're keeping it in a good safe, like everything is locked down properly with proper passwords. And please don't have a lot of admins with a lot of passwords scattered everywhere.
We've seen a lot of that because people
We've
think
seen
if
all
more
that.
people are managing it, it's a alternative sense of security that is so fake because you have more entry points, and that's something that I think a lot of people miss, that there's a whole lot of entry points and vulnerabilities, as you explained to me how it actually works. And even like the more technical things, we have the cPanels that should be separate for each website to seal the security of that particular website, instead of having these routes where the attacks and malware and all these things can basically transfer from one website to another. But a doctor, their job is not to go through the structure of how the websites are set up, parked and cPaneled, if we make a verb out of it. The doctor's job is to treat the patient, and we want to make sure that the doctor knows that there are amazing people who can support, who you can connect to, who you can ask a question and ask to verify certain things and give you recommendations. And I strongly recommend that you consider contacting John. Have a conversation about your objectives, about your possible fears when it comes to your website. You don't want that website to be hacked. You don't want your PHI. You don't to be displayed or used in a way that it shouldn't be. You want to make sure that certain things that need to be HIPAA compliant are HIPAA compliant. You need to work with people, in my opinion, that know what they're doing, instead of going for the cheapest possible option on
Yeah.
Fiverr, because you cannot afford to do it cheap. And at the same time, work with people who care about you and your users so much that they're not going to inflate the price just because they can, but they will still keep the price very reasonable. And that has always been the case with you, John. And that's why we've been working together for years, is because on so many levels there is an alignment. And I know that every doctor that we either work together on through Polish Your Business, or we refer as our collaborative agreement directly to Nassim Work, so your team can support that doctor. We know that it's always the extension of how we function, to be reasonable, to provide quality service to really understand the perspective of all the sides, make sure everybody's happy, work with law of attraction in mind, with good energy, gratitude, have a little fun with it as well on our conversations. We like to laugh, right? We like to have a good conversation and be serious when the seriousness of the situation is needed. And that's what I also want people to know, that even when it comes to contacting John, regardless of what type of engagement and what type of offer that you're gonna take, if there is a collaboration needed with PYB, with our team, what happens is that even on the direct referral to Nassim Works, John reaches out to me and say, hey, we're working on the page for this doctor. What do you think, Mike? How do you like this one? You also work with this doctor. How can we team up? And this is not just because I want to present the relationship between John and myself, because that's I think is pretty evident here. I want you watching or listening to this to really think about other team members that you have around you, and how John and ourselves, as well as the whole team at Polish Your Business, how cool is it to have people integrating with other people within your team instead of pulling different directions? We talk about integrative healthcare because that's what's needed clinically. We also believe in integrative marketing and the approach to business development. And John, please let me know if I missed something in the interview, because there's the topic could be 10 hours easily. Is there something that you would like to add for people to know before we go, to make sure that everything that you wanted to say today has been said?
Definitely, we can go on and on and on and on for that. I would just sum it to that following statement: doctors treat people, and technical people treat websites or treat solutions. So I'll give you the peace of mind to do what you do, and let me do what I do. Let's just talk first. Let's connect
Human to human.
human to human so we can solve another human.
So I want you to seriously consider scheduling a consult with John, because one consult can change the course of how your website functions as part of your practice development. I think that discovering certain things yourself, you can do it, and it's definitely easier when people work together. So you can contact John directly through Polish Your Business website. When you go to team members or team, you will find him, John Nassim. Click on the website and you will have an opportunity to connect with him. You can also go directly to his team and schedule a consult there. So John, tell our viewers and listeners what the website URL is.
It is as simple as Nassim Works, and Nassim is spelled as November, Echo, Sierra, Sierra, India, Mary, and then the word works, WORKS.com. Or you could simply search my name, Nassim Space Works, on Google, and I promise you're going to find us out there.
Super. And what's interesting is that we talk about Nassim Works, and I will tell you, Nassim Works. John, big thank you. I appreciate you, and I'm so grateful to be able to work with such cool people.
Likewise. It's always a pleasure, Mike. Likewise.
Super. Have a great day, and thank you for listening.